Hello everyone and welcome back to Cities by Steven. You're talking to Steven. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. Get that bell notification on too so you don't miss out on a video. Welcome back to the channel where we're having a spooky episode. Happy Halloween, everyone, if you celebrate. And holy cow, I got a fun one for you today. We're going to be building a ghost town because it's Halloween and ghosts, spooky. So this was this came from the comment section. So the idea to build a ghost town, and same with some of the lore that we'll be discussing on why the ghost town exists. And so there's been a few comments about the ghost town, so I've kind of blended them all together, added my own little bits into it, and I'm really excited to show you all what I've got planned for the ghost town. So while we're kind of looking at Fort Prairie, Prairie Station, and all the towns we've built during this intro, what is a ghost town? Well, a ghost town is an abandoned town, and you know, in cinematic lore and in the real world, ghost towns are called ghost towns because they're abandoned and only the ghosts are left behind, right? So it's creepy, there's creepy elements to it, and there's always a reason why the town was abandoned. And I think we'll be diving into all of those themes today. So we got the ghost town, and we'll have a haunted lake nearby with a ghost in the lake. So yeah, when I think of a ghost town, I think of like the Wild West and some of those old rail towns that have just been abandoned. I think of mining towns that are in the middle of nowhere and have been abandoned. Maybe it could be as simple as, the gold dried up and no one wanted to live there anymore, so they abandoned it. Or it could be something as terrible as like a disaster, like a tornado or something like that, and no one decided to go back into the town. So there's lots of reasons why a town could become a ghost town. There's a really cool channel on YouTube actually, where someone bought a ghost town and they're rebuilding it into kind of like a museum. It's really neat. If I remember correctly, I'll put the channel in the description if you want to check it out. It's really, really neat. Anyways, yeah, so let's hop out and look at what the plan is for the ghost town, where we're going to be building it, and what projects we need to do first and what I've already done in preparation for this video, or if you want to build a ghost town. Now, really quickly, before I actually exit out of these cinematics, this is going to be a how to build a ghost town with vanilla assets, DLC assets, content creator pack assets. There is very, very few workshop assets, so hopefully this will be relatable to a lot of you. So let's hop out and take a look. So we got the town of Eugene, the Eugene ghost town. Now on Eugene ghost town, I've put on some policies. So tax relief and no rebuilding, just because I want to make sure that the land value is going to be as high as I possibly can get it to get buildings to grow inside of it. And I don't want anything to be rebuilt because maybe we'll abandon some things, So we got Eugene Ghost Town, and we got the haunted Wilson house. So creepy. All right, so what needs to be done first? Well, I think we need to discuss the lore and why there is going to be a town right here in this zone here, and why there is a haunted house over on this side of Wilson Lake. So from the comments, the town of Eugene was named after a surveyor who discovered an ore deposit nearby. So very cool. Where could this be? Well, we have a little bit of a mountain here, and maybe the surveyor was surveying the land and was like, oh, you know what? I think there's like a coal deposit or some type of ore inside of this hillside here, and, started surveying it. But the town was named after the person who discovered this ore vein. Now, it was abandoned after a mining disaster. There were a lot of mysterious events prior to, and some say it was the ghost of Jim Wilson, who was a pioneer, who settled over here on this lake, who did not enjoy the fact that there was a mining operation nearby. Now, Jim Wilson, he was a troubled pioneer who, in his attempts to stop the town from growing, died in the lake and haunts the lake and anyone who goes nearby, protecting his pioneer land. So his ghost still haunts the lake, toying to drown anyone who canoes on the lake. So that is the history and the lore of this town. Now let's actually build it. So I'm planning on building it over here. And why am I planning on building it over here? Well, okay, it freaked me out why we had so many things abandoned for water. Well, it was all the assets that I planned for this build. Should have known. So why are we building it over here? Well, if you look at the topography of the map, it's a pretty unique place. I didn't change any of it. The only topography changes I've done so far in this area is I just extended this land out. It was just all flat over here, like flat as in over here. So I just built it up over here, just out a little bit, just to help out. And I've done nothing else to the terrain except for like very little smoothing around here. But I figured this would be a really good spot because it kind of was created like a bit of a basin, like as if water would run into the lake from here. And I figured this would be a really nice spot because it's relatively flat. It has access to water. It's close to the hill. It's got everything we need. So it's a cool place. It's also pretty out of the way, which would mean, you know, the city didn't want to rebuild it. No one wants to live out here. It's pretty far out of the way. Nothing's out over here in the back corner in the Badlands over here. So it makes sense. It's a good location. And we also get to add in some cool water assets as well. It's also close by to another area over here where the haunted Wilson house over here. And why would Wilson, a pioneer, settle over here? Well, it's a really nice bay. It's a nice little area. It's got a nice little cove. Really nice area. I mean, I would want to live here. It looks pretty cool. It's a great looking lake. So we'll have him live over here or at the abandoned house of his family. So now what do we need to do? We have it planned out. What do we need to do? Well, this is a ghost town in the fact that there is an ore deposit nearby. So any wealthy person investing in this ore company would have got a railway out here at some point. So a spur line. Now we only have one railway in this entire map. It goes all the way up through here and goes north. Now we've added some in over here, but talking about this part right here. So what I'm thinking is we add in a spur line. Now the spur line could go directly to the town, and that's cool. Or what we can do is we can kind of pre-plan for future episodes in Fort Prairie. And by doing that, what we'll do is we'll actually get a rail extension out from this main line following this road kind of, and we'll connect out over here. And then we'll have that wealthy investor of the ore mines, we'll have them build that extension out over into this way, or over into this side. And then we'll also need to run a dirt road out here, and I think we'll follow the rail track for that. So we'll be running that road kind of over in this direction, in that rail. So because this is kind of a bit more of not a part of the lore building of this series, of this episode, it's not really a haunted part of the episode. It's not really the ghost town part. We're just gonna be building some roads and some rail tracks. So I'm going to actually fast forward through this episode, or this part of the episode. So bear with me while we build a railway and then build a road and a railway. Awesome. Okay, so we got the railway in. So this railway that we built first, that goes all the way through here, is pretty thematic. I mean, it works with the theme of the series, an Alberta themed city. Follows the road a lot. I've seen that a lot. Roads and railroads tend to follow each other. And this is going to be really beneficial for when we build our oil industry as well. So, you know, serving double duty right here. And then this one over here, I don't mind that this slope is so incredible because it's never going to be in use. This is just for the theme. I also don't mind the cut here. That's really normal to see, especially in this area. I mean, a tunnel could also be used, but I don't know if in this case they would have tunneled through here. And then, yeah, we got this line all the way to here where we'll get our station in soon, but we need a road. And we need to get the road into this town. I think I might also try to snake a road out over into here as well, out this way, but we'll see about that. So let's dive into the road next. All right, so I'm not going to worry about this road too much. Definitely we're going to change it up when we get some oil industry going, but I like this junction here. That's pretty smooth. How we're going to actually play it out with the oil industry, I don't know yet, but we really needed the road over here for the Wilson Haunted House, and then all the way out over into here so we can get like a nice full loop connection. Now I haven't connected these two because I don't know what we're going to do with it yet. How it's going to connect, I'm not too sure. So now we're at the point where we can actually start building the ghost town. Now, when I think of a ghost town, you know, Wild West really comes to mind. Technically, you know, we're all in Alberta. It's the Wild Northwest. And when I think of an abandoned ghost town in the Wild West, I think of just like a classic straight line with maybe like one intersection, and then that's where like the major buildings are. You know, like the bank, the post office, the hotel, and that's where all the gunslinging happens. And you know, close by off of one of those roads in the junction is the direction to the mine. So really just like a really simple basic grid, and the grid will be centered off of like the rail station or something like that. So really rudimentary, really basic, nothing else to it. Maybe like one block back from the main road. So that's what I'm thinking. And then these are the buildings that I've kind of picked out as possibilities, right? So we got some of these walls here. We have this old cemetery. We have the abandoned house. We got a couple of churches that we have to choose from. We got the new fire station and police station, which are like older style buildings. We got collapsible buildings. You know, we can place any building down and then collapse them with the disasters DLC. So technically this is actually the medical clinic, which is kind of fun. A little library, a post office. Oh, so this one is from the workshop. I think this is the only one from the workshop, which has just kind of become a staple in my channel using this asset. So we might not end up using it. That's okay. The hunting cabins from the nature reserve DLC, or nature reserve park, sorry. The barn from the industries DLC. We have a couple of props here, like this gazebo and some of the pillars, the stone pillars. Might be useful. We have the stables. Now this one doesn't look too abandoned, but I'm curious to see what it looks like collapsed. So why don't we get the sim going and let's see what it looks like collapsed. If it looks cool, then we can keep it. If not, I actually don't really mind it as a building. So we'll collapse the building. We'll see what it looks like. You know, we have one of the oh, that actually looks pretty cool. I might use this multiple times because of the size of it. Yeah. We'll see. So let's get that building back. We have one of the restaurants from one of the content creator packs. We have a bunch of buildings from the Seaside Resorts pack. And then we have a train station, which I've used in this series before, but this is not the train station from the Seaside Resorts pack. So this would be the second of 2 workshop items. And then the sauna. Why the sauna? Well, it looks like an old building, and that works. And then for the mine, we have the incinerator, because it looks like an older industrial building. We have the ore grinding mill that also looks like an older industrial building. We have some of the mines here, and then we have some of these. Now, I was wondering, this is the small ore mine. Some of these buildings are trucks. I think it would be thematic if the town was abandoned in the 70s, which maybe it was. And then we have some of these caves, because creepy caves, that's always a part of ghost towns. So this is kind of what we got going on for the plan here. Let's figure out the station and how we're going to get the station in here. So let's look at a good location for it. And where is a great location for a rail station? Well, somewhere flat. That is definitely ideal. So let's choose this height that we're at right here. Let's just level it out, really simply. And then we'll select it. The reason why I place them all here is just so we can kind of see them all, and then I can easily just use the picker mod and place it down. Now, I guess I need the road first. Yeah, so I'm thinking, it looks kind of like over here, maybe they could have loaded up some of the trains. I was thinking, should we get the cargo station? But, I was thinking in reality, wouldn't the rail kind of run through? That's not the railway either. There we go. Wouldn't the railway kind of run through here and then kind of go into the mine? That would be kind of correct, right? Very nice. So now let's get that road connection in, because we have a main road in the town. We've kind of established our grid off of this rail station. So we'll connect up right through here. We'll bring this one through, and then let's just go into topography really quickly, and let's find where we need to connect. Right up there. Okay, so pretty steep, but definitely doable, especially because this is just it's just for the lore of the area, for the story, and then we'll just clean it up a little bit using the network multi-tools, and we'll line it up right to there. Yeah, that works great. All right, so now we've established the grid. Let's just clean up the rest of this road, and then we'll kind of build out the town. All right, so we're gonna use dirt roads. That seems about right. And then we'll have the main road kind of come right off of this. Let's put on topography again, because it's always helpful to see where we need to go. And we'll go right to about here. And then we'll have this one run right down this kind of gulch to about right here. And, simple intersection here into the town. And then we'll have this one run up to here. And then maybe we have a road coming out to here, which then joins up like that. Yeah, that's pretty simple. Looks good. Very basic grid. And then maybe we need one more road connection from this one over here, but it looks like we're on a bit of a hill here, so I don't think they would have built that road until about right here. So we'll do that, and then we'll use the grid from this side. Okay, very good. All right, so now that we got the basics in, this is going to be the main basic grid of the ghost town. And then we need to connect into the waterfront as well. So really simply enough, I just placed these buildings down over here, which we didn't look at. Just the fishing piers and the abandoned piers, or the Seine piers, I guess. I actually think there's one more that I forgot to get. The pier ruins. Okay, that's actually a lot better than some of these ones. So now let's select a height we want for this, and I think this one right here is at a great height. So We'll select both of these. We'll put it to the same height as that. There we go. And then we'll try to line up this with the waterfront here. That works. And then we'll basically just connect it up with a nice clean curve. Okay, fantastic. And I think these are different grades of road. So let's just upgrade them. There we go. All right, so we'll let all the water settle in case there's anything of any issues or something like that. And we'll come back to the waterfront when we talk about Wilson. Oh, there's a helicopter coming out this way. Where are you going? And why? There's nothing over here, helicopter. The police is surveying us. They're worried about all these random buildings over here. Uh-oh. What did someone do at Hotel New Linwood? Okay, so we got the train station in. Let's delete it. So now let's build like the main kind of strip, right? So we need the main intersection. What needs to go in the main intersection? Well, I'm thinking the main intersection needs to be like the grandest of the hotels of this rail town, rail mining town. And let's go with this one. This one seems pretty nice. The Atlantic Hotel. So this one will go kind of right off of the main road here. We'll get this one right into this intersection. Just like that. Now, could we turn it or something like that? So it's kind of like facing the intersection. Because I feel like that would make sense for a hotel to do. Especially, you know, at this main junction, right? And a lot of the ore would be running down through here, so I'm sure this would get a lot of traffic. Then we have a bit of a main intersection over here as well. And what needs to go there? Well, probably yet another major hotel or building. Maybe this one's the bank or something like that. So we'll get this one here, but I actually wanted it facing the other way. So we'll just build a road up like this. And then this one is going to slide like that. Very good. And we'll bring it inwards like that. Okay, so maybe this is, you know, maybe it's a wealthier landowners through here. Maybe they got a big in the gold mine. Or maybe it's also a hotel. All right, so what else needs to be in here? Well, this is the main intersection of the town. Let's get a bit more of a modern post office. So say the town was built up in the early 1900s, and then they got a post office in town. And we'll place it down over here. Now, we're going to come back and we'll do some detailing at the end, because that's going to be really important. But technically, these post bands are going to run all the way over down the road, so that'll be interesting to see. And then I also want to grab the library, because it looks like a nice building, a nice simple building that could go right beside this. Okay, very good. All right, so now we got those. Let's delete them. We need the church. The main church is always good. Now I like this one because it has the cemetery. So let's just select it and we'll move it. So where should this be? Well, you know, I think the church should be at a nice area. So again, we'll kind of look at where the church should be facing. So I think this church should be facing in this direction. So let's try and find a nice angle for it. And why don't we have it a bit more down this way? I mean, it makes sense. It's closer to the river. It's pretty nice. It would be a nice kind of spot, and it'll stay away from the kind of gunslinging that happens in the main intersection where all the gold is, you know? So I'll have it turn slightly, and then we'll level it out a little bit, just so it's a nice little area there, and that's a great asset to use. All right, so now let's add in some more buildings onto the main street here. So here's the sauna. We'll place this one over here. Now, is it really a sauna or is it just an old building? I think it's just an old building. All right. We got a couple of these ones as well. This building would go nice on a corner. Hotel Vesper. And then this one over here, really nice. Have this one kind of over on this side. And then we have this one over here, which we've actually already used in our done build. And we'll have this one right here. Then here's the next one, Colonial Hotel. This one we can put, this one needs to be a bit more in the main area, I feel. Somewhere over there. And then we'll have Hotel Lawrence. Move this one. This one we'll put a bit closer to the train station, why not? And then Hotel New Linwood. This one looks more like a house, so I think we can place this one a bit farther down the street here. All right. And any other buildings we need at this moment? Well, maybe we can get the stables. So we're thinking that this was maybe, you know, the original method of getting around. You'd think the stables would be nearby the main town. So let's get this over through here so people would ride in on their horses. I'm thinking like Red Dead Redemption 2, you know, those kind of towns of like Valentine. It seems like the kind of thing that would be here. Now, if we go into BOB, maybe we can change the tree into something a little funky. Now, I'm worried that we're going to change it on the other parts of the map that we've already built it on. But I don't know. Now, we do have some abandoned, like, dead trees. So I guess this is another workshop asset. There you go. It's got some dead trees. That works. And, I mean, having the stables close to the rail station, I think, makes thematic sense from the old Wild West towns that I've seen. So we got the main part of the town down. We need to expand it that way. So let's delete this. We got some of these ones as well. The historical police station. Let's place this one. This one needs to be at an intersection, I find. So let's place this one down over here. It also looks like a schoolhouse, actually. So maybe let's move it into the town. Very good. And there's more. So let's go down over on this side. And look at this. This one looks more like the town hall, you know? So, oh my goodness, all the cars. I was hoping that this wouldn't happen. Look at the town hall over here. And then we have another church. I think we definitely need to use this church. And we'll have this one. So I don't think we need this one, so we'll delete it. So now let's place some of these buildings around. So I'm using the medical center because I like the size of it. And we're just going to place them around in a couple places. We're going to get a couple different ones as well. And then we're going to go into the disasters DLC. This is a major factor of this build here. And we're just going to collapse the building. There we go. Create some rubble. And then we'll also find another building that's a lot smaller. That would work. So let's just find a small, cheap building. Like, why not like this historical fire station? Place a couple of these ones around as well. And let's get a couple more in this way. So, you know, this area has amazing fire coverage. Fantastic. All right, so we can delete this. I actually don't think we're going to use that building in the end. We definitely need some of these, just abandoned houses, just houses that have, you know, they're still there. They're not collapsed, but they're abandoned, and we need these pretty in a lot of places. I think this is going to be a major factor of this. So especially on these main kind of intersections where, you know, homesteads would have been. Awesome. Okay. So we got that. Let's delete that. And then now we got to build some farms. So let's grab a farm fence. Nothing fancy at all. Just the nature reserve fence is actually perfect. And let's see where we could get like a cool farm entry point. So yeah, let's get a couple right in here. Just like maybe some larger properties. And that works out great. So we'll have this one, turn off the guidelines. Sorry, this is the schoolhouse, so I think we need to actually change the plan for this area. And this is going to be, we need to make like an old schoolyard. Okay, yeah, you know, that's going to work out nicely for now. And then let's get like a larger area over here, which is going to be like some old farmers pasture or something like that. And why don't we say it's this person's pasture? Oh, whoops. And then let's get that barn in here. So let's actually just move this over like this. Let's get that barn. Awesome, awesome. All right, so anything else? Yeah, we need this hunting cabin. So the reason why I like these hunting cabins is because they look like older buildings, you know? They look like wooden buildings. So I think 2 is enough. All right, so there's a couple other items we need to get in here, like these pillars. So these pillars I was hoping would look like, you know, old foundation stones. So I was thinking maybe if we get them in like a square formation. And then maybe, I don't know if this is going to work, but maybe if we lower them. It's not working. Yeah, no, that should work. Okay, so we can't lower these at all. That's okay. But what if we were to grab these walls? There we go. Looks like a burned down building of some sort. But then speaking of these walls, how awesome would it be to get just some random old foundations as well, or some ruins of foundations. Very cool. All right. And okay, so let's delete these. I don't know if we need the gazebo after all, but maybe we can find a spot for it. So I was thinking the gazebo could be like a really nice addition to like a behind one of these hotels. Awesome. Okay, so now that we got all those items in place, let's just get rid of these icons. It's bugging me. Let's get some water up here. So I'm just gonna do this off camera, or sped up. And you know, speaking of this, I feel like, speaking of water, I feel like we need one of these, like an old water tower, right beside the train station here. Because, you know, they used to have to put water into the steam engines. All right, so there we go. We got the main kind of town in here. That looks awesome. Let's see if maybe we can grab some of these items here. And then what we'll do is we'll put it on a brush and we'll see if we can add some more grass in. Awesome. Okay, you know, this is coming along pretty nicely. Like the abandoned features. Now, to make it truly abandoned, we need to turn everything off. So we'll do that later. But let's get the mine going. So this is going to be really simple, really basic. Let's find a location inside of this hill that we can kind of dig into. And I don't think it particularly matters, but let's just kind of bring a road out like that. And then let's grab the mine. Let's start off with this one. Let's see if this one will work. Not an industry area. Okay, so I'm actually using the industry area from our 5-star ore mine. I just brought it over earlier. And we'll bring it up into here. Okay, so let's move it into this area here. Let's see if we can get it to look like it's supposed to. Okay, very cool start. It'd be nice if we could try and blend in this rock with the hill here. So let's see what we can do. So there we go. We see the hitbox. This is the major issue I have with these buildings. So maybe we can kind of say that they took the dirt off of the area, and now it's very much more of like an exposed rock. Yeah, that looks good. I don't mind it, at least. We can get a couple of these smaller ones over here. Shows that the rock is kind of coming up a little bit. And there we go. So we got the main ore vein. I think that's all we really need for it, but we definitely need to set up like an industry processing area for it. So we'll have that set up over here on the hill. Now I know from watching some videos and stuff that once they split the ore out of the rock, they usually just dump it off of like a conveyor. So what we need to do to kind of represent that is buff this out a little bit, first of all, just to make it a bit more realistic. We don't see the hitbox. We'll come back and we'll smooth it out. And then let's grab this. We'll put it to the smallest size. And we'll say that, you know, they can like move this, say, and we'll have, whoa, a bit of rock. That's all I was hoping for. Over there. Yeah, there we go. That works. Oh, and we need water up here as well. That would be helpful. Awesome. Okay, so technically this will operate. Should we let it operate? I don't think so. So let's turn them all off. But I think what we'll do is we'll get that ore resource in here. In this area, at least. Because, you know, Mr. Eugene, the person who surveyed this area, did find ore after all. But all these mysterious things happened during it. All right, so I think we're good now. We can delete all this. All that's left is the incinerator, which maybe we can incorporate. This will also help as an asset to garbage production in this area, because it's not gonna be good. And then obviously we definitely need to create like or remove a texture. We remove textures. Maybe it's in here. Yeah, sand. No, okay, so we need to use this to remove texture. That's grass, ruined. There we go. And then if we hop into BOB, we can actually remove the parking spaces. Awesome. That looks really nice. I like how this has kind of turned out. Tons of traffic though. Oh, maybe we should make sure that there's no intercity trains allowed in here, because that's not good. And then I don't think we need the these trucks. All right, so if we go into here and we type in abandoned, we get these trucks. And these trucks and these cars could be really cool props over here, especially these trucks in this zone. So let's try, oh, those are all cars, weren't they? Let's try and line up a few. That's pretty neat. Oh my gosh, look at all the vehicles. Really should have turned everything off. Why don't I just give this a second and we'll turn everything off. Awesome. Okay, so I turned everything off. I left on the police, fire, and death care, because that will be, you know, important in case there's issues out this way. All right, so now we need to add in these creepy caves. So these will be kind of staples of the town. So the town was built over here because there was ore deposits, but there were these creepy caves, and some unsuspecting people would often fall into them. Ooh. And that adds to the hauntedness of the area. So I like that one in this spot. This one over here could be good, kind of maybe a bit more up in this area. Fantastic. Love this. Let's add in just these piers right in here, and then we'll go make the Wilson house. So I actually don't like these ones over here, so we're just going to delete them. And I think what we really just need is this one. This one is fantastic. We just need to move it. And what we'll do is we'll just basically push it right out to here, bring it down right to this edge right here, and we'll actually just lower it down into the ground quite substantially, because that way it's actually level with the terrain. And we'll just do that. And we need a reason why there is an area over here, and that's just recreation for the town. But people would have definitely wanted to live out here by the lake, so let's just kind of create a bit of a zone for that. Okay, fantastic. You know, just really simple stuff. That's all you really need. So let's detail this up a little bit more than we currently have it, and then we'll come back. So what am I going to do with this detailing? Well, what I'm basically going to do is, well, first of all, let's remove these hitboxes from this area. That'd be nice. But I'm basically just going to go through with the detailing, the ground details, and we're just going to kind of create a bit more of a uniformity. I already like how it's really overgrown. And then we'll also look at adding in some rocks and stuff like that. So just give me a moment here. We won't be long with this. Fantastic. Love how this has turned out, especially when we turn off all the icons. It looks awesome. We have everything we need. We have these abandoned buildings. We have this story for the town. We have an old cemetery and an old church. We have a bit more of a main kind of intersection here as well. We've got abandoned and destroyed buildings, an old schoolhouse. We have an old firehouse, which is a town hall. We have an old church, a bit more of a wealthier part, maybe the people who did strike rich. And we have some creepy haunted caves nearby as well. And then up here we have the abandoned mine that spawned so much of the issues in this town. The boom and bust, which is very much the story of Alberta, which is, you know, where the setting for this town takes place. And all the hauntings that have occurred from all the people who've died in the mines, from the poor human rights conditions and stuff like that in the early days of this mine. But there's one person who has really been haunting this town, and that is Mr. Wilson. So Mr. Wilson, who died in this lake trying to fight this town and the gold and ore barons who established Eugene. So I think we need to choose a house for him. And, you know, honestly, I think this one is just perfect for it. Let's place it down into here, and we'll just plop it down, bit of a waterfront like this. And we'll just lower it to about right there. And then what we need to do is just buff it out, so we remove the hitbox from the area. And this kind of creates a bit of like a cliff for them, right? So there's a bit of a platform here, which makes it such a wonderful place to live. I mean, Wilson definitely saw this land and, you know, as a pioneer and settled it after he probably bought it from the government. Maybe he got it for free, because there was a time in Canadian history when land was free in the West, especially for people who were from the United Kingdom. So Wilson is a very British name, so makes sense. So there we go, we got that. And I think he needs a pier. So I think what we can really do with this is go with this one here. So we need it needs to have a main gate, or it must be on a road, I think. So let's try and grab just this basic road right here, just like that. And then we'll place this on here like so. Works out great. And then we need to get a road all the way out to this area. So let's run that. And, you know, this is just a private, this is private land, right? So it doesn't really matter if the grading is okay. This was also way before the time of cars that this person built this land. So I think what we can do is just basically run it up the hill. Although it makes sense that this road would not have been kept up. So yeah, there we go. We got this place. I think there's a couple other things we can get, like a bit of a farm fence around his property. So we'll turn off the guidelines and we'll just do this. And this is his main kind of domain area. I'm sure that Wilson owned more of this land. So Wilson died in the lake trying to fight against the people who over on this side of the lake who were establishing this town because he hated that they were on his lake. He thought this lake was his. So let's kind of leave some items here, like some canoes and stuff that maybe people still try and sneak in and think it's a really cool place to explore, so they bring their canoes, not knowing that Mr. Wilson haunts the lake. And then I also think in the future we'll establish like a bit more of like a marina on this town right in here when we build up Chapman Creek. And maybe that's a bit more of like a modern kind of thing. And maybe even people, especially on Halloween, they like to come here and they go canoeing on leaving Wilson's haunted house, and they go canoeing on the lake at midnight, and they say that you can see the ghost of Mr. Wilson on the lake in the shimmer of the moon. Ooh. So there we go, folks. There you have it. We have a ghost town. We have a bit of a haunted house over here, and I think the story plays out really well. It's fun. We also got some really nice infrastructure in the town. If we're talking about Fort Prairie and proper, we've got this nice rail line through here, which is nice, and we also have these roads out this way which we can tap into, especially when we go with the ore industry and when we build up out over here. So there we have it, the ghost town of Eugene, with the creepy caves, the haunted house, and ghost town, haunted lake. It's got everything. So here we have it for one last time. We'll swing by here next episode as well. But an abandoned town, very creepy, very cool. I hope you all liked it. Talk to you next time. Peace out.